All right, and we are back. Yes, it is golf. It is Ryder Cup, and I've been intrigued by this Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka rivalry for quite a while now, as a lot of the golf world has. But it seems that they're telling Team USA captain Steve Stricker that they won't have an issue during the Ryder Cup, that they're going to put aside this feud. I know they say Bryson DeChambeau wants to end it and wants to move on and wants to win, and I admire that, and maybe Koepka will finally let go. But both of them have just had this ongoing thing on the golf course, on camera. It's been tense. But, maybe, just maybe, them building out together this Ryder Cup and building a win together on this team, right? Team building mentality, then we should be good. But it is kind of crazy how much this has dominated the headlines in golf, the Bryson Brooks situation. Because everybody wonders, can this be okay? Can this work? Can they feud and still win? That's been the big question. In my mind, too. And I think they can win. And I think they will have the will to win. But I don't think the feud's going to go away. I wish it would, finally, once and for all. I wish it would. I think it'd be better for golf if this wasn't a pissing match between the two of them, while on the biggest stage competing against Europe. That would be nice. That'd be very nice. And so, how much golf do you guys follow? Just a curiosity. Raise your hand. I can't really see you, but how many people follow golf? How many people know the game of golf? Well, if you don't, you're not alone, because I didn't for the longest time either. Nor did I really want to learn it. But when I saw the dramatics of a 3-shot par, and then singing that putt with 3 on the third shot, or birdieing somehow on the second shot, that's thrilling. You don't know if this 90-foot putt's going to go in or not. They got to curl it right. They got to get it down the slope sometimes into the hole, and they do it. But sometimes they also mess it up. And so it's thrilling. Then the fans get into it. They cheer loudly. They go, rah, 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 go team, whoever. And then boom. The cup is won. The green jacket's won. The open is won. And it's just like anything can happen. After cut day anyway, anything can happen. So I'm very excited to see if they really do put away their feud. Now, the other thing about this is, and I'm thinking of who I want to put on. I might put on my interview I had with Chris Cheddar. She's actually of the LPGA. And she talked about her relationship with, her sort of father-daughter relationship with one Ben Hogan. Golfing great. You got to check that out. I'm going to air her today as well to give some insights into the man behind the crazy golf world, Ben Hogan. The man who got into a car accident, saved his wife and himself by leaning across the dashboard, only to have his legs crushed, but they were not removed. They were strengthened again, and after his accident, he went on to continue winning. I talked with Chris Cheddar about that. We'll air that interview today as well, because that's a fighter right there. That's a golfing, fighting legend right there. So, stay tuned for Chris Cheddar. She's an LPGA Tour member and very, very much mentored by golfing great Ben Hogan. Can't miss that. But that's the thing. These guys sort of had this professionalism, this gentlemanly thing, I think, back in the Nicholas Arnie Palmer day. And And I'm just hyped. I'm hyped that this weekend could prove a win for Team USA. If they play it right, if they don't feud, if they do team building truly. Truly, truly, truly. And for a veteran like Steve Stricker, I mean, that's going to be a task to have to monitor this. I guess Patrick Reed had an issue with Jim Furyk 3 years ago at the Ryder Cup in 2018. Furyk was the captain at the time. But, it's a brotherhood. And I just always thought they were respectful toward each other. But this feud has opened my eyes that sometimes that's just not the case on the golf course. But now it is time to put this aside, gentlemen, and win. Win for your team, your country, on the golf course. Any way you can. If it means putting away the feud, I'm all for it. Would love to see that stop in general, but it may not. Again, that feels like a long way out to decide, but for now, this is what we got. And what we got is an exciting Team USA, Team Europe matchup. Team USA all the way. And if you're out on the golf course with these guys, behave. I couldn't believe some of the audio I was hearing when these tournaments were on Long Island, and they were shouting after every shot, profanities. By the way, I think I mentioned this before, you can't mention even Brooksie as a taunt to Bryson DeChambeau. So that was squashed, I believe, by Bryce. Why? Who knows? But I do know this. The fans can say all they want. I just want to see that there is some unity here on this team. That's all I'm asking for. I've been to a few golf outings. Have you? The golf outings are fun. You get to go hole to hole, see everybody, thank them for coming out and whatnot. And I've had multiple times of hitting a ball on my one leg with a golf club straight down the fairway, 500 yards. That was pretty cool. And I might don the red, because you know what Tiger Woods taught us? That winners wear red. And Team USA, we're going to be winners. We're going to be wearing red, white, and blue this weekend. Wear them proudly. Wear our colors proudly on the golf course. And yes, putting the feud away would help us seem more representable as Team USA, not dysfunctional Team USA. So you're not only putting away the feud for the better of the game, you're putting away the feud for the better of our country, for the better of representing our country to the best you can. The red, white, and blue. Oh, so cool to talk about that too. We'll have updates. Chris Cheddar's going to come up in a minute and talk with me about, well, what it was like to be around Ben Hogan and around golf back in the day. And another thing about these tournaments that gives me chills is when you see these guys about to win, going up to the 18th hole, well, on the verge of winning, the crowd massively following, like they followed Phil Mickelson a few months ago. Massive following for him. That was cool to see. Not only because it felt like we were post-COVID, and we're not, but it felt like it. Also, it felt sort of normal to see them walking up behind him on the fairway up to the 18th. Which, if you go back to old golf footage, that's evident in so many places. It's exciting. And I hope that energy, that electricity is happening in Wisconsin this week. Team Europe, I guess, donning cheese heads because they were in Wisconsin. And by the way, Packers did win, so maybe a good omen for Team Europe. If they're winning the cheeseheads and the cheeseheads win, right? In Wisconsin. Green Bay. But yes, red, white, and blue. Wearing the colors proudly. That's what the ending of the Koepka and Bryson feud would do. By the way, Brooks Koepka does have a charity fund called the BK Charity Fund, and you can find that on Twitter to buy merchandise for Team USA at the on Twitter and at his website. And so he's calling these guys his brothers. Brooks is. I hope that includes Bryson. I really do. And he and Bryson did have some words on the golf course. Hopefully that means things are going to go well. And you can understand Stricker's hesitancy, but there should be nothing to worry about. If they're on the golf course now having a laugh, we should be good. Because the golf, in my view, has always been a relaxing game. So if these guys could stay relaxed and just play hard and win, Team USA is going to take home the Ryder Cup. We'll have all the details we'll cover for you, but up next is Chris Cheddar, the woman who knew very well Ben Hogan, and we'll talk about her experiences with him, her connection to the golf legend when we come back on the Sports Hour with Alex Garrett and on Ken You Dig Sports Radio. So those are my thoughts on this MMA stuff. But yeah, we don't want to see hugging. We pay even boxing to see them slug it out, night in and night out, card in and card out. That's the allure of boxing and fighting in general, is it not? To me, it is. It's always been that way. I mean, down goes Frazier in boxing is so legendary because he knocked out Joe Frazier. He stung like a bee, as they say. Or as he would say. So, what about you guys? I know there are some MMA fans on Can You Dig Sports Radio, so share with us your thoughts at alex@alexgnyc.com. And if you do email me, if you do start contacting me, I will read this on the air and tell you what my thoughts are on your question at hand. alex@alexgnyc.com. Can't go and take phone calls yet. Would love to work on that. Would love to be able to talk to you guys out there on the Can You Dig Sports Radio world and see how that goes. But for now, I love just joining you every weekday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. 8 a.m. is my bonus hour, and so is 11 a.m., where you can hear content from throughout the week. But 12 p.m., about 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern is where you'll hear the majority of my fresh content. And as I say, I don't usually talk about the MMA, the boxing world, but that's some news. And then the other news I'm seeing now, which I totally should have covered, Manny Pacquiao would like to run for president of the Philippines. Pacquiao is sort of an entrepreneur. He's got his own company. He's also been in the Filipino House of Representatives and won re-election the following elections. Then became a Filipino senator. So he's been in the political scene as well as the fighting, as well as the, I believe, fashion, as well as the technology world. So Manny Pacquiao using his status to better the people of the Philippines, I'm for it. I think all countries should be run by small business owners. I'm not going to say small businessmen, because yes, Pacquiao's short, but his stature is just that. He's not defined by his stature. He makes moves, and he gets things done. And if you want to be Filipino president, I think he's more than capable of doing it, right? It looks like he is. But I like this. I like that a sports athlete such as Pacquiao, Herschel Walker down in Georgia, wanting to run for office. Look, it's good to have these players, ex-athletes. It's good to have those in the business sector run for president. You know why? Of any country. You know why? Because they're not going to be tied down to the establishment. They're not going to be tied down to those who want to try and lobby to him. They're going to be out, maybe outlandish sometimes, but they're going to be out there working for the people, because the businessman understands the people. Why we elect people who don't understand the people is way beyond my pay grade on this show. But I'd say if athletes wanted to run more and get more involved and change the political landscape in favor of small business owners, hell yes, I'm for that. I am 100% for that. I think it would be important. And even so, even if they're not athletes, any small businessman that wants to run, any businessman that's not tied down to the establishment, the lobbyists, whoever, would be so much more beneficial than, say, someone who's been getting money in their pockets as a senator. By the way, I'm glad, I know I've been talking a little less sports, but there's so much stuff on my mind, and this is simulcasted, so I like to talk about it a lot. Of course, it's more sports-oriented, because it is Can You Dig Sports, and that's what I try to bring into this every day. And but on my regular feed also, I talk about politics, because let's be honest, sports athletes, those with disabilities, radio hosts, vloggers, we all pay taxes. So how is our money going to be used wisely? Well, for 7 senators, not the Washington senators, by the way, do you know 7 House members have made money on stocks? And apparently the ethics group is saying 7 lawmakers are not disclosing their stock trades. Oh boy, that's a scandal. But again, would a Manny Pacquiao, would a Herschel Walker, would any of these people be athletes, guzzling money like this? I don't think so. I think they'd understand that to be a leader, you have to show leadership. To be a good example, you have to be the good example. And by being the good example, I think athletes do it the best. Their behavior may not reflect it sometimes, but their work in the community, their work off the ice, off the rink, off the court, off the field, is still it's so worth noting. It's so worth noting that a lot of these people, after they retire from their sport, should be able to run a business on their own, should be able to run a show, a company, taking that team building mindset into a small business world, even into politics. That's what we need. Sports athletes that want to run, that's what we need. We need team building mindsets in office right now so they can build us up, not have people that tear us down. Even the sports world gets torn up because one side doesn't like the kneeling, another side likes the kneeling. One side doesn't like when... And I feel like that's true. That the kneeling became a very divisive thing here in New York City, here in sports. And some have not done it as much now. But I think the fans were getting tired of it, to be honest with you. Some were. Some cheered it on, and that's okay too. But when these athletes leave the biz of sports, leave their workspace, they for sure should consider running for office because they have that mindset of, we're going to win as a team. And isn't the United States of America supposed to be a team? Aren't we supposed to together be team building for each other? I sure hope so. Or we've lost. We've lost the country. So Manny Pacquiao running in Philippines for president is pretty great. And I wish him all the best moving forward. Now, one other thing is, and it feels like a lighter sports news day in my view, but the Bears have named Justin Fields as their quarterback, as their number one, like from what they saw from the kid last week, and he's going to be starting. And who they start against, I'll tell you right now, as I have the NFL app on my phone, by the way. But the Bears are putting him in just as they face their AFC North opponent. Their AFC North counterpart, if you will, because they're not in the same division, but Cleveland Browns. It'll be an AFC North, NFC North matchup in Cleveland. And Justin Fields from Ohio State in the Buckeye State will be facing off against the Cleveland Browns. Pretty cool for him to have a homecoming back to Ohio State, the Buckeye State, as a Bear. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does in the alma mater, in the state of his alma mater. Should be fun. Should be real. Should be very, very close on Sunday. Because you got to think, Baker Mayfield can give this kid a run for his money. He could give Baker a run for his money. I think so anyway. So there's that. And it seemed like that was the only quarterback controversy right now. Then you find out Tua is out. I think I've told you about this. The Tua situation is just tough. It's tough because I figured he would not be as well recovering from injury he suffered while at Alabama. But he's got fractured ribs. Jacob Brissett will start against the Raiders for a Dolphin team that's 1-1 and can use another win. And against the Raiders, it might be a tough task to do so. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. But Justin Fields getting the start for the Bears, and I'm hyped to see that. If he gets it, I'm going to get a Fields jersey, okay? If he gets his first win as a starter, he's getting my money to get a jersey. No doubt about it. Justin Fields. Because I love that Bear jersey, personally. But I like people that, I just like people that perform well in whatever number they have and whatever jersey they have. But I might get it if he does well. We'll have to see. And I'll post my picture. You can find me at AlexGNYC1, AlexGNYC1, and that's my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. AlexG Podcast also is my outlet as well. Can You Dig Sports also has an Instagram. Did you know that? And they're very interactive. Leal interacts. A lot of them interact. It's fun. It's great. Midnight Marauders host Shar also is very active on there. And follow us. Follow us all. AlexGNYC1, Can You Dig Sports? And so, there you have it. In my next segment, by the way, stay tuned for a very special interview in the next hour. But up in the next segment, got some interesting Ryder Cup news for you. Maybe you're not a golf fan. Maybe you are. Maybe you're not following the Brooks, Koepka, Bryson feud. But I certainly am, and I'm interested to know how this turns out. I'm going to tell you the update on that. Because, look, we're Team USA. The Ryder Cup's coming up. You want to win? You got to put your differences behind. That's 100% how I feel. You got to be ready to win and do whatever it takes. And if to end a feud for winning means that, then we're in good shape. Seeing that they have Patrick Cantley and Xander Schauffele have been forging a friendship, and that started the President's Cup. Cantley, by the way, was, I believe, Player of the Year for golf from the PGA. And so let's see. Let's see how the Ryder Cup goes for America. Should be fun. Should be entertaining. And we'll talk about the Brooks-Bryson situation in a minute. But first, some songs and some messages on the Sports Hour with Alex Garrett on Can You Dig Sports Radio and Alex Garrett Podcast.